Jimmy Okungu, and I'm a music producer. I run a record label called Cypher Studios. In terms of my production name, since everyone has a production name, I'm called the Beat Maker. I've been a producer, I would say now, for about like 12 years. Music career started a long time ago, let's say around 1993. Hip-hop wasn't that acceptable at that time, especially because my group was a gospel group. It was called Rap Community. And I would say some of the big guys in the industry that are in Kenya right now were part of that group. Guys like Big Kev, Big Ted, Sarcute, there's LC, myself, there's another guy called Johnny. The list can go on. There's quite a number of us who were in that group. And I would say it was a big transition of what we were doing at that time. And so that's where my music career began. I got into production much later on. Started producing upcoming artists that were coming in the industry at that time. People like Issa. There was Amani, she was in a group called Sobriety. There was Vinnie Bantam, there was Gooks, and there were a lot of different artists at that time that came up that I was dealing with. So that's where my music career began from, as a producer. Also abroad, I worked with different artists. I was on a project called Watu Wangu that was in the UK and was set up by a guy who works for BBC One Extra called Sir Prestige. And within that project, what we did was we produced artists, we recorded artists, and we're trying to give that feel of Kenyans who live abroad the kind of music that we feel that should be out there. The concept of Cypher Studios was to work with young people in the industry that are not known. As my career has always been to work with individuals who are not known. I've never really been interested in people that are known as artists. And so on my label, I have 3 artists that are mainly signed to me. One of them is there's a girl group that does pop music called Kijani. The other individual is there is called Levisil. He's a dancehall reggae artist. And the last one is Cleopatra. My company is a music, marketing, distribution, production company. And so we major on putting out people in the market. Where my music is moving towards is creating an urban sound for Kenyans. That's where I am right now. It's called The Cross and the Switchblade. The Cross and the Switchblade is based about a young preacher who goes into the inner city of New York and helps people give their lives to Christ. It's a really rough area. So it's a book that I read a long time ago, but it's always been my favorite book. Chapati and dengu. Yeah, I'm one of those people who loves that. If chapati and dengu is being made, I'm not going anywhere, I'm there. I think I was about 10 years old. There was a group called Belle Biv DeVoe. And they had a song called Poison that I always see on TV. Those days K-Chin first came out in Nairobi, and I was like, I had to just get this album, So I went, and that was the first album that I got. There's a car that I currently drive. It's an Ipsa 240i, and I love it. Can pack enough people on it, so when I go for shows, there's no other excuse for walking. So I love that car. I'm one person who's not so much into movies. I'm more like a series kind of person. Because I feel with movies, they just get finished. With the series, you can keep on watching on and on and on. And I think one of my favorite ones recently that I watched is a series that was ongoing called Spartacus. Yes, I love medieval movies. Who produces music, I like listening to a lot of different kinds of music. but sometimes when people look at me, they can't imagine the music I like listening to. I just like listening to old school music. You know, one of my favorite songs that I love listening to is Gigi by Super Mazembe. You know, for me, I like hearing stories. I like music that's based around stories. So I say locally, that's what I'm feeling right now. Internationally, there are two different albums that I heard like this year. They're not new albums, but they caught my attention. One is Swedish House Mafia. It's because I like how they take the old music and mix it with the new music. And the other is an album called Ministry of Dubstep. So those are the albums that just catch my attention. Apart from that, of course, I have to talk about my artists with what they're doing and everything. So, I mean, for Levisio, Cleopatra, and Kijani, they're all working on the albums that are supposed to come out later on in the year. They're holding it down. So that's what I love listening to.